the portable on-chain balance sheet, sovereign convergence of crypto and TradFi. In mid-2026, crypto and traditional finance are converging into a single user-sovereign financial reality, the portable on-chain balance sheet. Gas abstraction, account abstraction, chain abstraction, national trust charters, Treasury-backed stablecoins, tokenized real-world assets, artificial intelligence personalization, cross-chain interoperability, and user-generated vaults combine to form a unified, programmable financial identity. This living balance sheet owns assets, permissions, execution logic, and spendability across networks and agents, shifting loyalty from apps to the user's own sovereign financial body. The future is not easier crypto, but a native, inhabitable treasury for individuals and AI alike. Section 1, Introduction. 1.1 The current state of fragmentation in crypto and TradFi. For most of their histories, cryptocurrency and traditional finance have existed in parallel universes. Crypto users juggled multiple wallets, chased native gas tokens, bridged assets across incompatible chains, and tolerated custodial platforms that held keys they did not control. In TradFi, individuals manage siloed accounts, checking, savings, brokerage, credit cards, each governed by separate institutions, legacy rails, and high intermediary fees. Both worlds suffered from the same core problem. Financial life was fragmented. Assets, identity, permissions, and execution logic lived in separate containers. Switching interfaces, moving value, or delegating authority required manual intervention, trust in third parties, and repeated onboarding. 1.2 The Promise of Convergence, from Toolbox to Coherent Financial Body. Convergence is not about one side winning, it is about the disappearance of the boundary itself. The emerging reality is a financial construct that feels less like software you use and more like a body you inhabit, persistent, sovereign, programmable, and portable. This is not additive progress, better wallet plus better card plus better yield. It is emergent coherence, a single, living financial state that carries identity, assets, logic, and agency across chains, apps, jurisdictions, and even autonomous agents. 1.3 Presentation of the core concept, the portable on-chain balance sheet. The portable on-chain balance sheet is a unified, user-controlled ledger that integrates persistent identity using passkeys, biometrics, and decentralized identifiers, multi-asset collateral including stablecoins, native tokens, tokenized real-world assets, and fiat representations execution logic through smart accounts, intents, and agent delegation. Spendability via on-chain rails, abstracted payments, and last-mile bridges. Programmability through vaults, automated strategies, and permission sharing. Unlike today's wallets or neobanks, it is not tied to a single application, chain, or custodian. It moves with the user. 1.4 Thesis Statement. The portable on-chain balance sheet represents the sovereign convergence of crypto and traditional finance. By mid-2026, the technical, regulatory, and product layers are aligning to make it real. When it matures, loyalty will belong not to protocols or institutions, but to the individual's own financial identity, an inhabitable, programmable treasury for humans and artificial intelligence agents alike. Section 2, Historical Context and What Changed. 2.1 The Fragmented Era, Separate Wallets, Gas Tokens, Chains, Custody Models, and Legacy Rails. Crypto's first decade was defined by separation. Externally owned accounts required users to hold Ethereum or Solana just to move value. Wallets were chain-specific or required bridging. Custodial exchanges and neobanks held keys and imposed know-your-customer silos. Traditional finance cards extracted 1% to 3% fees and tracked every spend. Each component lived in its own container. Continuity across them was manual and lossy. 2.2 Key Technical Breakthroughs, Account Abstraction, Gas Abstraction, and Chain Abstraction. Three major abstractions collapsed the friction. Account abstraction, ERC 43337 and EIP 7702, turned wallets into programmable smart contracts with passkeys, social recovery, batching, and sponsored fees. Gas abstraction allowed payment in any token, sponsorship by decentralized applications, or complete removal of gas user experience via paymasters and bundlers. Chain abstraction unified balances and routing across ecosystems through intent solvers and cross-chain messaging. These removed the plumbing pain points that kept crypto niche. 2.3 Regulatory and institutional shifts enabling convergence. Regulatory momentum accelerated in 2025 to 2026. The Genius Act created a federal framework for payment stablecoins. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency granted national trust charters to Circle, Telcoin, Ripple, Paxos, BitGo, and others. Treasury-backed stablecoin issuance grew into a massive buyer of United States debt. Traditional finance institutions such as JP Morgan, Citi, and Fidelity tokenized deposits and real-world assets on-chain. These moves gave crypto-native players banking-grade legitimacy while giving traditional finance access to programmable money. Section 3. Core building blocks of the portable on-chain balance sheet. 3.1 Identity and sovereignty. Persistent, user-controlled identity. At the foundation lies persistent, self-sovereign identity. No longer tied to seed phrases or custodial logins, users authenticate via passkeys, biometrics, web authentication, or decentralized identifiers. This identity is not stored in an application or on a server. It lives on-chain or in user-controlled secure enclaves. Social recovery, multi-factor delegation, and programmable permissions ensure that even if one device is lost, the financial self remains intact and recoverable. Sovereignty here means the user, not a protocol, exchange, or bank, ultimately controls access and authority. 3.2 Unified collateral and asset management, multi-chain, multi-asset coherence. The balance sheet treats all assets as a single, coherent portfolio, regardless of origin or location. Native tokens such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. Stablecoins such as USDC, USDT, and tokenized deposits. Tokenized real-world assets including treasuries, real estate, commodities, and equities. Non-fungible tokens and digital collectibles. Chain abstraction and unified balance views allow these to appear as one spendable, yield-generating pool. A user might hold USDC on Base, tokenized treasury bills on Ethereum, and Bitcoin on the Bitcoin network, all visible and usable from a single interface without manual bridging or swapping. 3.3 Execution and programmability, abstracted gas, intent-based routing, and agent compatibility. Execution is no longer manual or chain-specific. Gas abstraction removes the need to hold native tokens or calculate fees. Paymasters and bundlers handle costs behind the scenes. Intent-based systems translate user goals such as swap for best yield, lend safely, or pay rent into optimal on-chain execution paths. Smart accounts execute complex logic including transaction batching, automated rebalancing, and conditional triggers without repeated signatures. This programmability makes the balance sheet agent-ready. Artificial intelligence agents can be delegated limited authority to manage portions of the treasury autonomously. 3.4 Spendability and last-mile access, on-chain rails versus legacy cards. Spendability bridges the digital and physical worlds. On-chain stablecoin payments offer near-zero fees and instant finality. Legacy card networks such as Visa and MasterCard remain dominant for merchant acceptance, but are increasingly hybridized. Crypto-backed debit cards automatically convert collateral on spend, while stablecoin rails gain ground in emerging markets. Future native rails, such as tokenized deposits, settling directly via real-time payment systems, reduce reliance on intermediaries, lowering fees and surveillance exposure. 3.5 Permission delegation and artificial intelligence agent readiness. The balance sheet supports granular, revocable delegation. Users can assign limited permissions to family members, decentralized autonomous organizations, or autonomous artificial intelligence agents, such as spending caps, yield optimization mandates, or conditional execution rules. Revocation is instant and on-chain. This makes the balance sheet the native treasury layer for artificial intelligence agents, enabling truly autonomous financial operations without human-in-the-loop bottlenecks. This content is brought to you by Bobby Giggs. Promote your brand here and reach a wide audience across platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Follow the links in the description to get started. Section 4. Key enablers and catalysts in 2026. 4.1 Abstraction layers, gas, account, and chain. By February 2026, ERC 4337 adoption has crossed critical mass on Ethereum and most major Layer 2 networks, while EIP 7702 enables hardware wallet compatibility. Gas abstraction is now table stakes in competitive wallets such as Tria, Infinex, and Coinbase Smart Wallet. Chain abstraction protocols make multi-chain feel single-chain. 4.2 Regulatory convergence, national trust charters, Genius Act, and stablecoin frameworks. The regulatory environment shifted decisively in 2025 to 2026. The Genius Act, passed July 2025, established a clear federal pathway for payment stablecoins, defining them outside securities and commodities law, while mandating one-to-one reserves in cash, short-term treasuries, or agency securities. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency followed with a wave of national trust charter approvals. Circle received conditional approval in December 2025. Telcoin finalized its Nebraska Digital Asset Bank charter in November 2025. Ripple, Paxos, BitGo, Fidelity Digital Assets, and several pending applications followed, including Coinbase and Crypto.com. These charters grant nationwide preemption of state money transmitter laws, access to Federal Reserve payment rails, and the ability to custody digital assets under federal oversight. The outcome is that crypto-native entities gained banking-grade legitimacy while remaining programmable and self-custodial, precisely the hybrid needed for sovereign balance sheets. 4.3 Stablecoin and Treasury symbiosis. Stablecoins have become one of the largest structural buyers of United States government debt. By February 2026, major issuers hold approximately $155 to $180 billion in short-term treasuries and agency securities, representing roughly 2.5% to 3% of the outstanding treasury bill market. This creates a powerful feedback loop. Issuance of United States dollar-pegged stablecoins drives demand for treasuries. Treasury demand lowers short-term yields, supporting United States fiscal capacity. Regulated, charter-backed stablecoins gain institutional trust, accelerating adoption in payments, remittances, and decentralized finance. The symbiosis embeds stablecoins, and by extension, on-chain balance sheets, into the core of global dollar infrastructure. 4.4 Tokenized real-world assets. Tokenized real-world assets crossed the $12 to $15 billion mark in total value locked or supply by early 2026, with growth accelerating 3 to 4 times year over year. Platforms such as Ondo Finance, Centrifuge, Franklin Templeton's Benji Tokens, BlackRock's Buiddle, and tokenized treasury products from multiple issuers allow users to hold fractional on-chain versions of United States treasuries, corporate bonds, real estate, commodities, and private credit. These assets integrate natively into smart accounts and vaults, letting users mix risk-free, yield-bearing collateral with volatile crypto holdings in one coherent balance sheet. 4.5 Artificial Intelligence Personalization and Robo-Advisory. Artificial intelligence has moved from optional add-on to core differentiator. Leading wallets and neobanks now embed intent solvers and routing engines, predictive portfolio rebalancing, risk monitoring across multi-chain positions, and conversational robo-advisors that interpret natural language goals, such as maximize stable yield with low drawdown or diversify into real-world assets. These tools make complex financial operations accessible, turning the balance sheet into an intelligent co-pilot rather than a passive ledger. 4.6 Cross-chain interoperability. Interoperability protocols reach production maturity in 2025 to 2026. Chainlink CCIP, Layer 0, Axelar, and near-chain signatures enable secure, low-latency cross-chain messaging and asset movement. Unified balance views and intent-based solvers abstract chain boundaries. Multi-chain wallets such as Tria, Infinex, and Coinbase Smart Wallet present a single portfolio across 20 to 100 plus networks. The result is that users experience one financial state, not fragmented, chain-specific accounts. 4.7 User-generated finance, vaults, baskets, and thematic strategies. User-generated vaults and baskets have become a cornerstone of differentiation. Platforms such as Yearn Finance, Morpho, Beefy Finance, and Crypto.com's thematic baskets allow users to curate custom asset mixes, lock capital for fixed periods with bonus yields, and participate in community-created strategies via decentralized autonomous organizations or artificial intelligence-assisted builders. These tools turn passive holding into active, goal-oriented finance, beating inflation, reducing volatility, or chasing thematic upside, all within the same sovereign balance sheet. Section 5. Real-world manifestations and leading examples. 5.1 Protocols and platforms pushing the full assembly. A small number of projects are assembling the complete portable on-chain balance sheet rather than offering isolated pieces. Treya stands out as one of the clearest early attempts at the full vision. It combines chain abstraction across more than 200 networks, gas abstraction allowing payment with any token or sponsorship, intent-based routing via bestpath AVS, programmable identity using passkeys and social recovery, integrated yield and vaults, and a global Visa card for last-mile spendability. Treya's architecture treats the balance sheet as a unified, portable state rather than a collection of features. Infinex pursues a similar holistic approach with a passkey-first super application supporting more than 20 chains, gas-abstracted wallets, perpetuals integration via Hyperliquid, yield vaults, artificial intelligence-assisted routing, and multi-provider liquidity aggregation. It emphasizes intent execution and user sovereignty over custodial convenience. Other notable contenders include Coinbase Smart Wallet, Near's chain-abstracted ecosystem, and emerging intent-centric protocols that treat user goals as the primary interface layer. These platforms are no longer building wallets. They are building portable financial identities. 5.2 Hybrid neobanks and crypto-native wallets. Traditional neobanks and financial technology firms are rapidly incorporating sovereign elements. Revolut has deepened crypto integration, added thematic baskets, and expanded tokenized asset exposure, though it remains more custodial than fully self-sovereign. Robinhood offers stocks, crypto, high-yield cash management, and a non-custodial wallet with gas-optimized on-chain features, blurring the line between brokerage and sovereign balance sheet. Crypto.com provides thematic baskets, vaults, and debit cards that convert crypto collateral on spend, creating a hybrid experience that bridges traditional finance usability with crypto programmability. Pure crypto-native wallets such as Ambir, Control, and Abstract Global Wallet push harder on self-custody, gas abstraction, and multi-chain coherence, often integrating user-generated vaults and artificial intelligence tools. The distinction between neobank and crypto wallet is dissolving. Both are converging toward the same sovereign construct. 5.3 Institutional moves, charters, tokenized deposits, and mergers and acquisitions. Institutional players are not standing still. Circle, the issuer of USDC, secured a national trust charter enabling regulated custody and reserve management under Office of the Comptroller of the Currency oversight while maintaining programmable stablecoin issuance. JP Morgan, via Kinexys, Citi, and Fidelity have tokenized deposits and real-world assets, allowing institutional clients to hold on-chain versions of fiat and treasuries that settle natively. BlackRock's Boodle Fund and Franklin Templeton continue scaling tokenized treasury products, pulling traditional finance capital on-chain. Mergers and acquisitions activity is accelerating. Crypto-native firms acquire payment rails or regulatory footholds, while traditional finance players partner with or invest in abstraction infrastructure. These moves embed sovereign balance sheet components into institutional-grade systems, providing scale and legitimacy. Section 6. Implications and stakes. 6.1. For users, sovereignty, portability, and a financial body they inhabit. The most profound change is experiential. Users no longer manage tools. They inhabit a single, persistent financial self. Assets feel native regardless of chain. Yields, payments, and strategies happen automatically or with minimal input. Loss of a device no longer means loss of wealth. Social recovery and passkeys preserve continuity. Sovereignty becomes tangible. The balance sheet is owned, not rented. For the average person, this means financial life feels more like breathing than like logging into 5 different applications. 6.2. For protocols and platforms, shift from loyalty to infrastructure. Protocols that once competed for user lock-in now compete to become invisible infrastructure. The winning layer is the one users forget is there, because it just works. Wallets evolve into identity and execution environments rather than branded products. Differentiation moves from marketing to quality of abstraction, quality of artificial intelligence agents, and seamlessness of cross-chain experience. Many current winners risk becoming commoditized unless they own part of the sovereign identity or treasury layer. 6.3. For traditional finance, loss of custody monopoly and new roles in hybrid systems. Traditional banks lose their monopoly on trust and custody, but they do not disappear. They pivot to hybrid roles, issuing tokenized deposits and regulated stablecoins, providing last-mile fiat on and off-ramps, offering compliance wrappers for real-world assets, acting as reserve custodians for large-scale stablecoin issuers. The institutions that adapt fastest will capture the institutional flow into on-chain systems, while the slow ones become legacy pipes. 6.4. For artificial intelligence agents, native Treasury layer for autonomous finance, artificial intelligence agents require more than application programming interfaces. They need a programmable, portable treasury they can act upon without human approval for every step. The portable on-chain balance sheet provides exactly that. Delegated permissions with hard limits, intent-based execution, real-time yield optimization, cross-chain capital deployment. This unlocks truly autonomous financial actors, personal agents that manage household finances, decentralized autonomous organization treasuries that run continuously, or enterprise agents that arbitrage opportunities 24 hours a day. Without a coherent balance sheet, agentic finance remains theoretical. With it, agentic finance becomes the default mode of capital allocation. 6.5. Risks and failure modes if convergence stalls. Convergence is not guaranteed. Possible failure modes include regulatory reversal or overreach that fragments rather than unifies, security incidents at scale that erode trust in self-custody and abstraction layers, centralization of intent solvers or paymasters recreating intermediary power, persistent user experience gaps that keep mass adoption niche, and economic shocks that cause stablecoin runs and treasury volatility. If any of these dominate, crypto remains powerful but fragmented, and traditional finance retains custody dominance for another decade. Section 7. Conclusion. 7.1 Recap of the transition from fragments to unified financial state. We began with a fragmented world of separate wallets, chains, custody models, and legacy rails. Through technical abstraction, regulatory alignment, stablecoin and treasury symbiosis, real-world asset tokenization, artificial intelligence, cross-chain seamlessness, and user-generated finance, the pieces are fusing into something new, a portable on-chain balance sheet that is sovereign, programmable, and inhabitable. 7.2. Why this moment, early 2026, is pivotal. February 2026 marks the early deployment phase, not the conceptual phase. The major abstractions are live at scale. Charters are being granted. Stablecoin and real-world asset supply is surging. Artificial intelligence agents are moving from demonstrations to production treasuries. The building blocks exist simultaneously for the first time. 7.3. Final vision. The portable on-chain balance sheet as the native financial self of the digital age. The endgame of financial technology is not easier payments or better yields. It is the creation of a financial body each person and each agent can inhabit. A persistent, self-sovereign balance sheet that carries identity, wealth, logic, and agency across time, space, chains, and interfaces. When that vision solidifies, crypto will have completed its transformation from a parallel experiment into the native financial layer of the digital world.